This is Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in the small box game Cinderella's Dance. This is a really clever game. I was checking to see the player count. It is only 2 players. I played it at 2 players, and it says 10 to 20 minutes. It could be even shorter than that. But in this game, it has 2 little twists that I think are really, really clever. One is you have a deck of cards numbered 1 to 21. And at the beginning of the game, you'll deal out all but I believe 5 of these cards. So each player will have a total of 8 cards in hand. And one player will start playing a card, and say a player plays the 17. The only cards that are eligible to be played are cards that are within three cards that are higher than 17. So 18, 19, and 20. So I happen to have those right here, 18, 19, and 20. Those are the only 3 cards that might be played. So if I play the 17 and my opponent does not have the 18, 19, or 20, that round ends and I win the round. So the whole point of the game is to try to play a card so that your opponent cannot play one of their cards. And their restriction is that they must play one of the next 3 cards sequentially in the deck, 1 to 21. That in itself, I think, is a cool concept, that you don't have a lot of freedom in what you're allowed to play. And so there's a lot of deduction happening. What have I played now? What can my opponent play, or what can't they play? Trying to figure out what 5 cards have been removed from the deck, which is almost impossible. You can kind of deduce that a little bit based on what you have in hand. And also trying to spread out, this is, I think, the key part, trying to spread out the cards that you play so that if your opponent plays a card that you can't anticipate, that you have a card that's at least 3 higher, or exactly 3 higher, 1, 2, or 3 higher than that card, so that you can actually play it and not lose the round. That's the first thing that I think is really clever about this game. The use of numbers and values are really, really interesting. The other thing is that when you win the round, when I started playing this game, I thought, okay, I've won this round. I get, for every card that I gained within this round, I'm going to get a point. But that's not the case. Rather, for winning the round, so being the player to play a card and your opponent cannot play another card, you get exactly 1 point. That's it. You get 1 point. So it kind of feels a little bit like a trick-taking game, but it isn't actually a trick-taking game. You aren't gaining any ongoing value or gaining any value correlated to the number of tricks that you earn, or the number of cards that you've won throughout the round. And I think that was a really clever system. I wasn't sure about that at first when I started playing, but as we played through a couple rounds of this game, I realized the value in that the number of cards you take doesn't really matter. All that matters is that you are the last player to be able to play a card. It reminds me a lot of a game that I really love called Hierarchy. This is a very simple game, nice little filler game. I'll definitely play it a few more times. But Hierarchy is a fantastic game that uses a very similar mechanism where you're trying to play a card so that your opponent cannot play a card. Really interesting mechanism there, and I think the point values play really well into that, just the simplicity of the point values. So yeah, that's my favorite mechanism in Cinderella's Dance, both the sequential element, I guess mechanism, sequential elements, and that you're scoring a single point for winning the round rather than a number of points equal to the number of cards that you've gained. Also prevents a runaway leader there. Let me know if you played this game, or if you can think of a game that kind of is a little bit similar to this. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks.